Thank you so much, viewers. And with me is a one-on-one with Charles Kanjama, who is the advocate of the High Court. And today we are going to look at the inauguration speeches of the governors. And Dr. Charles, what does the Constitution say about the inauguration of governors?
I think the first thing is that the Constitution says once the governor is elected into office, they must be sworn in. And this is done in the presence of a judge of the High Court. This has already been done. And immediately they are sworn in, they take office. They don't have any power before they are sworn in. Once they take office, the first job for the governor is to set up the County Executive Committee. And the Constitution says that the County Executive Committee, which is the cabinet of the county, cannot have more than 10 members. 10 is the maximum. Okay. But where the county assembly has less than 30 members, then the maximum members of the county executive committee is 1/3 of the county assembly members. But if the county assembly of that county has more than 30 members, then they can have up to 10. So every governor is expected to determine which ministries they are going to have, because they will then be choosing county executive committee members based on the functions that they consider are important for that county. So you will notice already when the county governors are setting up their county executive committees or cabinets, they're already indicating what are the areas they want to focus on. Finance, do I want to have a ministry of agriculture? Will I combine agriculture with water? How am I going to deal with my government? And of course, based on the location of every county and the priorities of every county, you would expect that the county ministries will vary from county to county. So for example, in Nairobi, you don't expect county agriculture to be an important issue. But if you are in Uasin Gishu County, you expect agriculture is very important. If you're in the counties in Lower Eastern, you expect matters of water so important that you need to have a whole county dedicated to water. If you are in Taita Taveta, you expect mining to be very important. And even though some of these are national government functions, the county may have a role in some of these matters. So they will determine what are their ministries based on what the Constitution has established as the functions of the counties under the fourth schedule of the Constitution, and secondly, what are the priorities for each county.
That's very interesting. But do you think the people or the citizens or the voter has a role to play, especially in looking at the inauguration speeches and the promises that the governors make to them during the inauguration speeches?
Yes, I think when you look at the inauguration speeches, you'll find several common themes coming across the speeches of different governors. Yes. The Constitution has a very elaborate mechanism of accountability and public participation. And the key organ that is used to control, manage, and oversight what the county governors and the executive are doing is the county assembly. What we have found is that the county assemblies, the first edition after the 2013 election, was not really focused on by the citizens. Citizens tended to focus on the national government, the National Assembly, Parliament, but we really need to focus more now on the county assemblies, because that's where the questions should be asked. You want a question asked about what the county executive is doing. Raise that question at the county assembly. At the national level, we have a Petitions to Parliament Act. Get something similar so that the county assemblies can receive petitions from members of the public. When members of the public notice instances of corruption, instances of improper focus on development, they need to raise that with their county assembly members, the ward representatives, so that these matters can be brought up in the county assembly. And then I think it will be very important for local media to develop that interfaces or interacts with the county assemblies, so that they can inform the people what are the county assemblies doing, what are they discussing, what have they observed, and there will be that interchange which will make the whole county government much more robust.
In the last year or in the recent years, we've seen a lot of impeachment to the governors. I think one of the governors who is actually back is Governor Wambora. What would you say about this impeachment? Because normally after the impeachment, we never see any governor leave office. They'll still be back. What can you comment about that, sir?
There have been 2 or 3 cases of attempted impeachment. There was the one of the Murang'a governor Wairia. It was an attempted impeachment. Wambora was successfully impeached twice at the county level. Viewers should have it clear that impeachment is like you are raising a case, formally making a case against the governor. That governor who is impeached has to go through a trial in the Senate. And if there was any lesson to be learnt there, is that the process of impeachment or the judicial processes of removal should not be relied upon to resolve political disputes or disagreements with a governor. And what happened is the first time round the county assembly members were fresh. It was their first time to have a county assembly, and maybe they didn't really understand the powers that they have as a county assembly. This time round, we hope that they'll be trained effectively, that they are people who are competent professionals, and they'll be able to oversight the governors without getting into this, you could call it bread basket politics, where you're given a bit of money, I don't know, for ward development, and you forget about the bigger picture.
Dr. Charles, as we end this, as we've seen from most of the questions that are being asked, do the public or the citizen or the voter have a role to play, especially in determining which kind of agenda or items that the governors or the elected leaders can prioritize?
Yes, they have a role, because there will be a lot of development plans that will be brought before the county assembly. There are various forums that are organized at the county assembly level, and sometimes you also have policy forums organized at the county executive by the governor and his ministers, and this should be advertised. And I think also members of the public have to feel free to send in their suggestions. They should not just wait for invitations. Stakeholders need to introduce themselves to the county government, so that when the county government is focusing on a certain issue, assuming it is an issue of schools, those stakeholders in the education sector should already be known, so that they can easily be reached and ask for their views. If it is stakeholders in the area of environment, in the area of agriculture, whatever area it is, they need to have already developed communication channels. So the responsibility is not only on the side of the county government to look for stakeholders. The stakeholders need to identify themselves. If it is in the area of public transport, they need to go introduce themselves, the county government, the relevant ministry, so that now they have an opportunity to assist in matters of policy formulation. And they should not forget that the county government has 2 arms, and they must engage both arms. They have to engage the arm of the executive, which is the policy making and implementation arm. And they have to engage the arm of the county assembly, which is the one that makes county legislation and then oversights or oversees what the executive is doing. It's not really supervision, it's called oversight, which is a slightly different issue. They look over and they correct where they notice mistakes, they ask questions, and they establish laws that govern the actions of the county executive.
Thank you so much. As we end today, I know in the past election, the country elected more women governors. Recently, we had no elected governor as a woman, but now we have a few governors. And as we've seen from the scorecards, it's really impressive. From Kirinyaga County, from the inauguration speech, there are a lot of things that they're already telling the public that they are going to do. What would you comment about women, especially now that you're going to have a number of women governors in the country?
Yes, in fact, we have 3 women governors. In Kitui, we have Charity Ngilu. In Kirinyaga, we have Anne Waiguru. And of course, in Bomet, we have Joyce Laboso. The first thing I would say is that citizens expect the governor, whether you are male or female, to run the county well. And the women in the county want good roads, they want water, they want education for their children, they want lighting, just like the men in the county. So I think the first focus we want to see is whether the women who are county governors now can be even better managers than the men. And of course, women have their special attributes. They tend to have much better personal touch, that dealing, empathy with other people, probably there might be less antagonism, as we've seen in some counties like Embu. We may have less of that with women governors. So we really are looking forward to see what spatial style, what cooperative leadership model they can bring in so that they are more effective in implementing the agenda that I think all Kenyans are looking forward to in each county.
Thank you so much, viewers. With me still is Charles Kanjama, the advocate of the High Court. And Charles Kanjama, I would like you just to give your last remarks on the subject today.
I think we are at a very exciting and interesting moment. The first county governments after 2013 were county governments of experimentation. They were like guinea pigs. We didn't know what was the power of the county government. The county governments of 2017 can no longer use as an excuse the fact that we are still in the stage of transition and trying out new things of implementation. Everything has been set. Now they need to hit the ground running. So I think citizens will be looking forward to see very rapid development at the local level, very quick focus on the different localities within the county, the ability to prioritize certain aspects of development on the needs of the counties. We want to see within 100 days what are the quick wins, what have been the successes of the incoming governors. You saw the way Governor Sonko in Nairobi, for example, immediately began a Clean the City campaign. We want to see, has he sustained it within 100 days? Is the city cleaner? We want to see the same thing of all the other counties. In Mombasa, there's been a lot of complaints about the dirt and the trash in the county. There have been the issues about the county askaris. We want to see, are they more disciplined? Are they managing traffic better? And so on. So this really is the focus of the citizen. Let us watch after 30 days, after 60 days, after 100 days, what are the governors been able to do? And then finally, the county governors of the 2017 edition are meant to be more savvy in their ability to attract investments, in their ability to attract even international funding for various capital projects, not only depending on the revenue they get from the national government. They need to expand even the amount they get from the taxation. We've seen the way Governor Sonko has said that the daily contribution of revenue or collection of revenue in Nairobi County has increased 3 or 4 times within just a few weeks. So are the governors able to get the financial resources necessary to really change the lives of their citizens? I want to see, for example, in Machakos, in Makueni, in Kitui, how many wells have been dug, water provision in how many places. I would like to see in the breadbasket counties of Kenya, that is places like Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, the Kisii counties, what measures have been put in place to improve the the price of grain for the grain farmers. I would like to see in places like the northern counties like Turkana and Marsabit, but especially Turkana. We've been talking about oil for so long. What is being done to ensure that the citizens are able to start developing as the revenue has come in? Don't forget, Turkana County is the second largest recipient of revenue from the national government. So what have they accomplished? I would like to see in the northeastern counties of Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, what are they doing in terms of ensuring that their citizens are integrated fully into the rest of the economy, the roads, the means of transport. What are they doing in provision of basic services like water and most importantly, and electricity, but most importantly, what are they doing to improve and develop this land allocation? Because you know, in many of those areas in the northern counties, you don't even have titles. People don't have titles apart from in a few towns. What are they doing to unlock the potential of the land in those areas? So really there's a lot that we'll be looking forward to in the coming weeks, months, and years.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewers, and all the best. Thank you.